Hey, 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 welcome, welcome, welcome. This is take three. Take three, Conversations with Stray Cat Style, episode number 12. I'm going to be interviewing the lovely Cherie of Red Lips Black Dress Boutique. She is going to be popping back on. Hopefully, I'm going to see if I request to go live with her first, if that helps, and to see if we can get her in here without issue. This is, it's really wild that it's like having this type of problem. Hopefully we can, because I was not able to see her. So hopefully, I'm going to request to go live with you. Let me request to go live with you. Let's see. Okay. I'm very glad. Yes!
You can say we
got the charm! Oh my God!
Oh, good. We got it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so, oh, you look beautiful.
Oh, so thank you.
See, now, I want to miss all this gloriousness. It's not fair for everybody else to be able to see you, and I cannot see you. That's just not right.
That's okay. We got it. We got it.
Very, very, very excited. Okay, so welcome to everyone that's coming into the room. We had more people in. Hopefully people are going to flutter in. This is really, really, really exciting. I am so excited to interview Miss Cherie of Red Lips Black Dress Boutique.
Yeah.
And I had to do red lips. I had to do red lips. I tried to do my brightest, but I had to do red lips because, you know, represent.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have you introduce yourself in just a second. I just want to introduce myself. I'm Kat of StrayKatStyle. I am an Instagram seller. I do sell on various platforms, and I do. This is part of my podcast series. This is the live version of my podcast series. I do have audio on Spotify, Conversations with StrayKatStyle. So it's more of a fashion history. Thus far, so you can check that out. But this is the live version where I get to like speak to these wonderful, wonderful fashionistas, small business owners, entrepreneurs, resellers. It runs the gamut, and I really wanted to find a way to represent women that look like me, that are rocking the resale business game, because I was not seeing enough of it. So I said, you know what? I like to talk to people. I'm kind of like, you know, I like to like meet new people and find out more about them. So I'm like, this will be a wonderful, wonderful platform to shine the light on these wonderful women. Because I tell you, we're rocking it like no other. And I tell you, it's just really important that people see that there are women that look like us that are doing this. It's really important. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. This lovely lady. And you know, one of these reasons why I was like, I saw her marketing, and I'm going to digress a second. I saw her marketing and the inclusivity that was happening with her marketing, and I'm like, you know what? People need to see this lady. They need to know more about her. So I was like, let me reach out to her, and she accepted right away. So I'm really, really stoked. So go ahead, introduce yourself, and then we'll get started.
Okay. Well, I am Madame Cherie. I started Red Lips Black Dress back in 2014, and I sell vintage clothing. I love vintage. I got off into vintage in 2007. I had my daughter, and you know, when you have children, your life changes. And you know, before you have children, you're sexy and you're fine and everything. And so I had my daughter, and I was like, you know what? I probably shouldn't dress, you know, like I'm 20 anymore. And I was like, man, you know, I need to change up my style. And one night I was watching I Love Lucy, and it hit me like a light bulb, vintage. And so ever since then, I have been living it, breathing it. I decorated our home with the 1920s furniture, 1940s. I drive a bug. I am into vintage. I'm in that thing. So
You know?
yeah, I'm in it. So so that's my journey.
Well,
and I also have
I've seen, you know, when
line.
you've done tutorials and you've done your lives, I've seen your office and how beautiful is decorated. My husband and I, when we were doing our place, we were doing like the 40s, 50s. But I tell you, I was like the red room, and just like the whole setup was really, really lovely. It was really lovely. And it's like, and it's, one thing that you notice, because you're tall.
Yes,
You're tall.
I'm
So I'm just
6'1".
like, she represented everything. You know, she just
Everybody.
encompassing it all. So, okay, so this is where people really get to learn about your journey and how you, because you kind of spoke about how with your, I know, right?
Oh, thank you. Welch juice box. Thank you. I'm
So
doing my crew
lovely.
outlet
And
tonight.
I haven't had a chance to share. So after I ask, I'm gonna hopefully I'll be interacting, but I'm gonna be sharing while you answer this first question,
Okay.
because I always want to know the inspiration, because you mentioned about your children, but I want to know just when you were like smaller, younger, you know, whether or not there was someone that was an inspiration to you, whether it be like in life, education, business, anybody that kind of lit a spark that was an inspiration for you.
My mother, straight up. She was my first God, so to speak, before I got to know God himself for myself. And so my mother instilled in us to be ladylike, to be classy, to be, you know, a representation, not just of, you know, them, my parents, but of
Mm-hmm.
yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
are a brand and you put out what you want to put out and what do you want people to receive from you. And so my
Mm-hmm.
mother, I attribute everything that I do to my mother.
Now, your mother, did she, because you're talking about representing yourself in a positive light,
Hmm.
was your mom is she a fashionista also?
Oh, honey, my mother, honey, she slays every day. But
Really?
really, it's my father, actually. In his younger years, he used to model. And he grew up in Motown. And he actually knew some of the Temptation singers before they all blew up, and Aretha Franklin. So
No
really,
way.
he's the where we get our fashion from, really.
Well,
My father, actually.
that's interesting because, well,
Uh-huh.
because I'm sure he was fly because I see some pictures. I see some pictures of like uncles and stuff, and they're working on a car and they got their sleeves rolled up, the suspenders, hat tilted to the side. It's like, my goodness,
Yeah.
they were rocking some style back then. And you know, just with music, with fashion history, learning that, you know, a lot of times back in the day we couldn't shop at the regular stores, and so they had to make their own things. And so it was like, you know, you know, everybody talking about Sunday best or whatever. It was every
Uh-huh.
day. So
Uh-huh.
it's like
Yep.
you dress daily, you know, these certain things. So your mom was your inspiration. So then, do you have any, like, as far as like when you start going out into the world and like earning a living and things, did you do like retail? You know, with school, some like, because I know I have interviewed people where they went to school for fashion or art or anything like that. Do you have any of that in your history?
No, I have more of singing and theatrics in my history. Believe it or not, I had very low self-esteem during my teenage years because I stood a foot over everyone. I'm 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
And of
Mm-hmm.
course, when you're developing and you're getting to know yourself, you want the
Mm-hmm.
boys to like you. The boys wanted to play basketball with me, and I used to play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to really hate my height. And so I used to tilt a little bit or put all my weight on one hip to appear to be shorter.
Mm-hmm.
And one day my father saw me do that and he took me for a walk. I'll never forget it. And at the time, the Twin Towers were up. And he said, "You know the Twin Towers?" And I was like, "Yes." And he was like, "They soar in New York." And then he started naming other monuments and buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, if God wanted you shorter, if he wanted you to look like this or that, he would have made you that way. But he made you tall for a reason. So
Mm-hmm.
embrace your height. And that gave me my life. So if you ever see me in person, I'm not just 6'1" flat foot, honey. I'm in heels. So I'm 6'4" and I'm loving it.
People
So
used to
that's,
ask me, I'm 5'8.5". I always wanted to
yes.
be 5'11". I always wanted to be 5'11". People were like, they would always ask me, how tall are you really? Because I'd be having all wedges that are this tall.
Right.
You know, they're like, how tall are you really? I'm like, you know,
Uh,
because you have the height, and
yeah.
I'm like trying to be right. And you're like, So it's just
Girl,
like,
I am tall.
I
I am tall.
know.
There are
I
some places I have to
know.
duck to get in, or today I had to duck where I went today, but I love it, and God has a purpose for all of us, and
Mhm.
believe it or not, my height has attracted the customers, the followers when they see me, because they're like, oh my God, but then they see what you're wearing, they see what
Mhm.
you're putting out, and
Yeah.
that's what attracts. So there's a purpose in everything.
Well, talk about someone, because you talk about someone, a woman that walks into a room
Yes.
and time stands still. I really imagine that happening over and over and over. You walk into a room and people are like, who is that? Who's that? Who's that over there? Who's that over there? And be like, does that happen?
I'm kind of hoping they see God first, really, and then
Mm-hmm.
confidence. Believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You have to encourage yourself. You have to believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Know that you're worth it. Know that you are everything. I tell people all the time, I can go and have 10 more children. They will never have these fingerprints. I
Mm-hmm.
am a Ripley's, believe it or not. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to be who I am in my own lane. I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
compete. I don't have to look
Yep.
over the fence. I
Mm-hmm.
am who I am
Mm-hmm.
because of him. And so when I walk into a room, not for the attention, never want to
Mm-hmm.
do that, but I'm confident because I know what he's put inside me, and I'm going to fulfill my mission
Mm-hmm.
and along the way, encourage someone else. So hopefully they see confidence when they see me walk in a room.
Well, the thing about it is the energy that you're putting out there. That's the energy you're putting out. Whatever you subscribe to, and the light, because you can bring light. You can go into a room and you can bring light, and that's something. And that's what your belief system is. What brings you your light. And so when you come in, it's the whole thing. And when I'm saying walking into the room, people have energy. They have a certain energy, and there's people that you can be in a room with and they zap you. And there's people that come into the room and they bring you this energy because it's just something about their whole presence. And that's what I picture. And it's, God is with you.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, that's what you're representing with your confidence. And confidence it's a thing.
It's a
It's a thing. And
thing.
it's like, we went to see my son play last night. Josh was like, my husband's like, everybody was staring at us. And I was just like, I got
Yes.
on my bright yellow dress and my my Carlos Fauci polka dot bag and big old earrings and all that stuff. And and it's just me and my armor and in my own self, and you have that versus you walk tall, and there's a certain confidence that you have. You walk tall and you kind of do your thing. So okay, so when let's see, when you. Because I want to get to somewhere where you're like, because you have the whole makeup thing, but did you do
Yes.
something before that kind of transitioned you into doing makeup? Or was that something that because you were doing vintage, did you start selling vintage first and then you kind of rolled into doing makeup? What was that progression? How did that work?
Yes, I started off with vintage, excuse me, and I love doing makeup on myself. And
Mm-hmm.
so one day, someone saw me, and they were like, "Oh, are you a makeup artist?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, 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 no." And they were like, "Well, you should be one." And I was like, "No, I think I'll mess up your face." And so the same lady came back a year later. She was getting married, and she said, "I really want you to do my face." And I was like, "Oh, I don't want to let her down." And when I did her face turned out the way I would do mine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I got into the business. I was like, oh, wow, I think I can do this.
Aw.
And I've been doing it ever since.
Oh,
So
wow.
then as I progressed, I grew a real passion for it. So I started a YouTube channel and then started a lipstick line, a makeup line for it. I was like, well, if Matt could do it, and Rihanna, why can't Madame Cherie,
Yeah.
And so I put out a makeup line.
So did you okay, because I'm gonna back up a little bit.
Okay.
Because with vintage, did you have a certain, because people have their own, I do a little bit of everything. When I resell, I do a little bit of everything. I do contemporary, I do vintage, I do statement, I do boho, all of that.
Mhm.
Did you have because you said vintage, did you have like a decade where you like statement, like, like rhinestone, sequin, the statement pieces? Or because I've seen you kind of do kind of like a little bit of everything when I've seen your recent lives,
Mhm.
or the last one that I saw that you were doing, you had a really beautiful head wrap on, and you had like a long maxi dress on. And so I remember I remember it like yesterday when I was watching it. And so did you like decide, okay, I'm going to start with a certain budget and then I'm going to do vintage? Because people are always curious how we get started, how we get started with reselling with vintage. What was your like game plan with that? Did you
Um,
did you already have something in your closet? Some people sell things in their closet first. How did that happen for you?
well, after I watched the whole I Love Lucy, I stayed in the 1950s, the pinup girl kind
Mm-hmm.
of era.
Mm-hmm.
And because when I went places, I always had my hair in a pinup style. I had the pearls, the gloves. I had all of
Oh,
that. And oh, yeah, I still do
look at
that.
the picture.
Yeah, I started to wear it tonight, but I was like, so let me do the Cruella since it's Halloween. But yeah, I did that. And then when I got on Instagram, I immediately noticed that the audience wasn't really into the 50s,
Mm-hmm.
the 50s era. It was more of the 80s and 90s
Mm-hmm.
with these ladies, the customers. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, you want to listen to your audience. You need to know your audience. So I started conforming just a little bit without losing the red lips, black dress
Mm-hmm.
ambiance. I try to put 80s in there and 90s to kind of mix it because
Mm-hmm.
I know that 50s isn't
Mm-hmm.
everyone's style.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. You mentioned something about people thinking that it's Halloween, and you might think it's Halloween. I find that interesting because I think that women in the housewife New York, she talks about that. People like stop her, and it's like her style, and that's just how she rolls. And thinking like where she's got some kind of costume on, and I think it's really important for people to like step back from that because being very um like representing our true fashion sense where we want to just push the boundaries, that should be commonplace. It shouldn't be like it just stands out because everybody's so individual. People are not going to be like, oh, you walk at a law firm because you're wearing a suit. Oh, you work at a yacht club because you're dressing peppy. So it's really important that, we are able to just express, because I don't know how many times people have said, where are you going? You going dancing? You going to, no, I'm going to Trader Joe's. Oh, I'm not going anywhere. Oh, I'm going to like maybe garden a little bit. It's really important that we just can be able to push those boundaries and do those things without people thinking that. It's
Yeah.
really interesting that you said that because, your style, as far as style, I'm not sure if you are familiar with her, but she like wears her wonderful hats and she's like, she pushes the boundaries as far as like what she wears. And I think that, I think it's just really important that I think people that should just look at it and say, damn, you got some style,
Yeah.
girl. You got style. And just let it, you know what I mean?
Let it
And
be.
just let it be like, embrace it, be like, take in the whole
Mhm.
visual and be like,
I
yes,
mean,
you know what I
uh,
mean?
honey, they talk about me anyway, so add this to your conversation. You know, um,
I'm moving on.
I'm moving on. I mean, you please people one day, they hate you the next. They're with you one moment, they're with you the next, they're not with you the next. I've learned to again stay in my lane.
Mm-hmm.
What I can wake up to, what I can go to sleep to.
Mm-hmm.
I dress the way I dress because I thoroughly enjoy fashion,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to intimidate anyone. It's not, to offend anyone.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, it's just what I do. And so, yeah, you have to, step out.
So okay, so let's talk about because for the people that are like thinking about starting to sell and sell online, because there's a
Okay.
lot of platforms available for people to be able to do that now. So then when you were doing your vintage, did you have a preferred method of like your inventory system, your sourcing, the price point, all of those things? Did you have a, because best business practices is always a really good, like if you had to say three things, if someone had to follow some kind of like outline for three things, what three things would you say before we get into the makeup part of it with the selling online? What would be like three things that you would kind of recommend people, like this will get you off on a good lay? Because we've had trial and error. You know, they won't
Oh
have the
yeah.
trial and error.
The first thing that I would do is, oh wow, that's actually a good question, very loaded question. So I'll try to condense it in three answers.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that I would highly recommend is to follow what was birthed inside you, your business.
Mm-hmm.
If you are supposed to be online blowing bubbles all day, blow them and blow them like none other.
Mm-hmm.
um, you're you're not going to come out like the Matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have this vision like, I'm going to get on here, this looks good, I love it, everyone's going to love it. And that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
You're not for everyone. So you have to be confident in the gift that God gave you and
Mm-hmm.
stick to it. You have to have people around you who believe in you. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to have people that say, well, maybe you shouldn't do this because you only have one follower or you only had one sale today. You
Mm-hmm.
have to have people that are going to be in the mud with you, that
Mm-hmm.
is encouraging you to say, hey, finish. Go to the finish line. Finish it. Finish it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the very first thing I would say is stick to your plan, stick to your vision that God gave you. You're going to,
Mm-hmm.
part of the journey is people throwing darts at you and the enemy wanting to discourage you,
Mm-hmm.
especially in this business with so many resellers. It's easy to look over the fence and say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, she's selling a whole lot and oh, her live's got 300 people in it, where
Mm-hmm.
mine has only two.
Mm-hmm.
You can't look at that. Your journey is different for you. Why? Because God's blessings on your life is tailor-made for you.
Mm-hmm.
When he looked at your business, he didn't look at mine and say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, how can we? No, no, no. He looked at you and
Mm-hmm.
said, this is what I want for her or him. And
Mm-hmm.
so your journey is going to look different. Some people, as soon as they come out, they may soar. Some people may have, some things along the way. You stick on the path. So that would be one. The second thing that I would, some advice that I would give someone who's starting is to be confident. You have to stick to it. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all. There are going to be times where, again, people are going to love you one day, hate you the next. People get off into trends. Sometimes they think things are popping over here and they forget about you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stick to it. Consistency is the name of the game. You have to stick to it. And then as far as the third, I would just say with your inventory, it takes time to find your items. Do research on it. It may be a pricey item. You don't
Mm-hmm.
want to sell it for $2.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You know, you want to do good research on it. Your time that was spent finding it, your resources, price it accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I was doing the DM me if you're interested in this item, but I created a website. I spent good money on my website for the upkeep because I believe in myself. Even if no one on here under the sound of my voice believes in me, I believe in me. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to shortchange me or Red Lips Black Dress. So please visit the website. If you're looking for a lippy or a shirt, please visit the website. Now, I'm not knocking anyone who, DM me if you, I'm not knocking anyone. That's not what I'm doing here. But I did invest in myself. And it helps me keep up with the inventory. It helps me to stay on track, make sure that the customer has their item out in a timely manner and fashion. And girl, I put money into it. So y'all use that website to go get your items. Girl, Go to the website.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Excuse me. Well, you know, it's really weird. Well, weird. It's wild because I feel like you're preaching to me. Okay, I feel like you're like seriously, like because, and it's like, I have some people on here that like Nikki B's, like she started coming to my lives when I like had no one coming to my lives, and there's a couple of people, and then MB Desert Nana when like very low amount of people, if any, there, and she kind of like stuck with me. And I have more people come to my lives. And sometimes I get discouraged. You know, I get discouraged. But for me, what I do is I'm always like, because I'm a hustler. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm going to sleep on it. I'm just going to sleep on it, get my mind working, and I just go back at it the next day because I know what my vision is and what I want to do and what my goals are. But I feel like you're speaking to me. And the thing about it is like, yeah, I may see someone, they have a lot of people in their lives, and they'll have like, you know, people are like claiming they're bidding, and you know, a lot of times those people that have that, they've built that, the people that come to their lives, they've built that into their branding, and so people know they're going to pay more and they need to bid up, or they need to do that. They need to do that to be able to grab the pieces that they want because of what they have. And so but for me with my goals, you know, I have people that come in like where I don't have a ton of people, but I still make my goals. So it's like, you know, I'm going to have those people that are loyal, that come and that do it. And maybe I may not have as many people show up, but that's that. And so I'm trying to like, you know, I'm constantly in flux, and I'm constantly like, you know, even though I know what I want to do, I still like, I flex it a little bit. But I think that what you were saying, I'm just totally like, oh my God, it's hitting me, because I'm like, oh my God, you know, I kind of need it. You know, sometimes the words are, you know, when you need the certain words, they're going to come to you. And like, I just like, I'm like slightly emotional because I'm just like, it's very,
Yes.
it's very apropos. And it's very like, okay, well, you're just like preaching to me. That's all. Those are the words. You know, that it's truly like it makes sense. And there's other people that I think that will benefit from hearing that type of thing, because it's not only were you selling the clothes, but you grew your brand. You grew your brand, and it's from having that belief mindset and keeping it rolling with what you wanted to do. So you started doing makeup. So okay, so did you, with your inventory system, because I keep telling Josh I want to do a website, but we haven't jumped because he's very researchy. He researches everything. He's like, research, okay, what site? And so sometimes it's a hindrance because you over research, you know. So then we haven't made a decision about which one platform we want to use. But you know, you saying that makes me more like I want to dig in my heels more and just get it going, because I think that it would, because I'm live so much and I have so much inventory. Some people are missing stuff, you know. I show it and then I don't show it for a long time. They're like, my regulars are like, where'd that come from? Where is that? Did you show that before? And I'm like, yeah, I did about a few months ago, and then I forgot about it because it's too much. So if I have a site, there's key pieces I can put on there for my people that I know what they're looking for. Yeah. So okay, so you're doing the vintage. The woman's like, do my makeup. So then how did you get that to roll into making your own? Like, tell us a little bit about that journey. So you did her makeup, then you're like, I can do this. So did you set up kind of like a marketing plan on what you were going to do? Did you start to like, I'm going to do my own makeup? What was that? Because some people, they jump in. You might have been like from the beginning, like, I'm just going to do that. Or you might have had a couple of steps that were in there. Like, tell us a little bit about that.
So after I did her face, really it became word of mouth. Mm-hmm. And then I just started putting out my work on the websites. A lot of clientele just comes from being in the mud. You know, mm-hmm. I left my business cards in other businesses. Mm-hmm. I would leave my cards on people's doors. Mm-hmm. And then my clients, they would tell people, she did my face, and they're like, oh, well, I need to hire you for, you know, or book you for, you know. And so that's how I was able to grow it. And then eventually I came out with a YouTube channel so I can teach, you know, the ladies how to do the makeup. So that was definitely in the mud hustle. It wasn't just, okay, again, I did one face and now I'm doing celebrity makeup. No, I I had to get in the mud. I had to leave my cards places. And there are times I overhear women talking about, I don't know who I'm gonna do my face. Who's gonna do my face for this? And I'll slip them a card. I say, I'm not trying to be nosy. Here you go. You know, and not only does it lead them to my YouTube channel, it leads them to the website. And you know, now I'm selling vintage and I'm doing makeup. So it's still growing. I'm still out there hustling. You know, like I said in the beginning, you're gonna spend more than you make. You're going to, you know, you're gonna do a lot of things. Denzel Washington said it best. When you pray for rain, you got to deal with the mud too. So if you're asking God to grow and bless your business, you got to deal with the gutter first, because he's got to see how you will be able to deal with the grand. We all want to be famous and rich and prosperous and everyone know my business, but how will you deal in the hard times? Because if you can get through that, then you'll appreciate the more good times. You won't be arrogant. You'll still be sweet to people. You'll still have that customer service. And you only get that in the mud, honey. Some people that are out there rich and famous, I wish I could call them and say, you know what? Be careful, because you'll lose it. You'll lose it.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not built in a foundation. The beautiful thing about mud is it gets dry and it dries up. And now it's a sturdy foundation. A lot of our buildings are made from mud because it dries and it hardens. And so you want your feet planted in something that's rich and hardened. And what a beautiful testimony to tell people, I made it to the top because I stayed in the mud. Now I can appreciate the rain and the blessings that come down. Oh, girl, I'll get the preaching and then I'll start singing on here, girl. Don't have me do it now.
I don't know if you've ever been to one of my lives. I always sing. I'm always singing. I'm always singing dialects. It's just like a, I was like, prepare to change.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing that you find is that, you know, knowing, like, having more success and things, you know, you're going to run into people that kind of drag you down and come at you. And that's another thing. Because you had mentioned, and we're going to get back to makeup, but I want to ask you about this, because you had mentioned, you know, they may say something or whatever, you know, because I noticed that, you know, occasionally I say, you know, they're coming at me. I'm just like, babe, what do I do? You know, and I'm just like, and it's part of, you know, you're being out there. We are vulnerable as being like sellers online when it's just us on screen, and then people can do or say whatever they want. They put whatever they want in the comments, you block them, whatever. They can, like, say, be harsh and all of that. How do you deal with, like, if you had to deal with that, like when you were selling vintage, when you're doing that online, how do you deal with people like that? Do you just ignore them? Do you, you know, just immediately just block? Do you, are there people that, you know, they're kind of on the fence? You're like, okay, let's try and get this worked out, because, you know, there is kind of light that you see there. How do you deal with that kind of thing?
I don't. You know, again, it's part of the journey. The enemy is always going to throw darts. People are always going to have something to say. Always. They're not gonna, you're not for everyone. Everyone is not gonna like what you put out. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Right now it's Halloween season, it's pumpkin season. And I love the holidays, and I use the holidays as a means to advertise. A lot of people aren't into Halloween, you know, and you know, some people are repelled by that. I have to keep going. I keep my eyes focused on the goal. There are times someone came in my DM, a couple of people have come in my DM, and they try to challenge my lipsticks and, you know, why this, why that. And I politely say, you know, this is why I do what I do. And, you know, if it's something that you don't care for, I thank you so much for your interest. The fact that you even came in my DM to care. And I said, I noticed that, and I appreciate you. And I'm sorry I'm not for you, but maybe one day you'll come back. Or maybe there's something that I'll put out and launch that will be to your liking. Until then, may God bless you, and thank you so much for your interest. And I leave it there. Yeah, I leave it there.
That's
You
a
will
little
go
killing them with
crazy.
kindness.
Yeah,
Like,
you will go crazy.
I know the
You
person's probably like,
will,
but I wanted to argue.
yeah,
Because I know people that they're like, I just wanted to argue. I just wanted to
yeah.
argue. But you're like, you took it right out of that. You're like,
No, no. I
not even
don't,
going there. And
I'm not
blessings to
going
you.
there.
Just keep going.
I don't argue with people. First of all, there's peace in silence.
Mm-hmm.
There is something that I live by, and I will continue to live by it because I want to live until at least 100 years old. And the quote says, "He who knows doesn't speak. He who speaks doesn't know." Most people in your path that throw darts are foolish or ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like your
Mm-hmm.
progression. They're looking at it through insecurity. They look at you through how faulty they are.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to bring you down. They feel better by bringing you down to where they are.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to bring you up where I am, because there's peace, there's joy, and there's happiness, and there's vintage and fashion where I'm at. So when you walk into my presence, because of what I give off, you can't help but give that back to me or run away from it. And so I refuse to let anyone or anything steal my joy. And it can't be stolen anyway because you didn't give it to me. I determine if I'm going to be upset. I determine if I'm going to be happy. So you can say and do what you want to me or my business. My business is a business of peace, of happiness, of artistry, of God, of joy. And there's nothing you can say or do that will take that away from me. You can try, but good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. No. Now, bye-bye. Go in peace.
And we love you.
See you
And when you're
later.
ready
See you
to
later.
come
Maybe
back,
I'll see
we'll
you
welcome
again.
you back.
Yeah.
50% off.
Yeah. Never say never. Okay, so let's talk about the makeup.
Yes.
Let's talk about the makeup. Okay,
Yes.
so because I've seen all the oh my gosh, the variety of colors.
Yeah.
We'll talk about marketing after a minute, but the variety of colors and things like that. So let's talk about that. Like, what was the progression of your makeup? Like, what was the progression of it?
Okay. I did have a makeup line. Well, it's always been a makeup line, but I started off by doing homemade lipstick. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I had a notification that popped up. Sorry about that. Okay. And so although I thought it did well, I really wanted something that was lasting because, I do have a career, and to God be the glory, I just got a promotion, and I thank God for that. And so I'm starting to become really busy in my career. Yes, thank you. I worked hard for it. I worked very hard for it. And so I needed my business to work for me. So I am with a manufacturer, and honey, I want to make sure that you all are getting the best products that you can. I guarantee these, baby. I mean, right now I'm wearing Delilah, my top seller. I don't know if you can really see my face, but the red, oh honey, yes, yes. So I was doing homemade, and although, that did well, I wanted to be more luxurious. I wanted to give top quality. And again, I wanted my business to work for itself. So I stopped doing that, and then I believe it was this summer. I can't remember which month. It had to have been July or August. I launched my new line, and honey, I don't use any other product. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mac. I love Mac. I'm a Mac girl, but sorry, Mac. I don't use you no more. And then I came out with a variety of colors because, everybody's taste buds are different. Not everybody likes red. Some people like, natural and neutral colors. So, yeah. And then I also launched per the season. I'm a seasonal girl. I love seasons. So in the summer, I launched the vibrant colors. And then now I'm launching deeper colors for the fall and the winter. And then spring, you'll get, your pinks. So, yeah. That's
I'm doing the song.
that's where we're at.
Ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-bum,
Yes,
ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-bum.
yes.
Da-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun,
Yes.
dun-dun,
Oh,
dun-dun,
yes, yes.
dun-dun,
Speaking of which,
dun-dun. The Addams Family.
the Adams
Ba-ba-ba-bum,
family. Yep, I've got the
ba-ba-ba-bum.
black right here.
Yes.
Yes,
I've been paying
yes.
attention, girl. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, oh
I've been paying
yeah.
attention. I'm just like,
I
oh,
got it.
love it. Love it.
I got
Love
it.
it, love it, love it.
Yes, ma'am.
I was like, ooh, because seriously, I really like when I see your marketing with that. And so do
Yes.
you, first of all, but I should ask you, okay, so you have your website that you sell. Is it just primarily on your website that you sell your lipsticks, or have you branched out to any other locations? You know how people will have like small business pieces in products in different places? I know.
I've only sold them online or at pop-up shops. I do a lot of pop-up shops. And the last one I was at, they wiped me out. I was like, oh my gosh.
Really?
But yeah, so like, yes, those of you who are starting your business, go to those pop-up shops. That's where your name is going to get out there. Please go to pop-up shops. Try to get involved. But yeah, so I'm taking my business in strides only because I do have a career, and that gets a lot of my attention. And because I'm a one-man show, sometimes it can be difficult carrying both. So I'm trying, I don't want to say I'm not trying to grow my business, but I'm trying to go at a steady pace where I can keep my career and Red Lips Black Dress, running next to me. Like, okay, guys, let's go. So I feel like if I put myself out there too much, it might be overwhelming, but that might be the blessing of God too. Maybe I need to hire some people to come on and help me. Maybe that might be what I need to do too. So yeah,
Aw.
I don't know. We'll see.
Wow. Okay. So wow. Cause so then what goes into the development of deciding like what colors you're gonna do and like what mixes and what colors, how does that work? Do you work hand in hand with them? Do you say when you're creating it, like I need something that has like a little more of this in it? How do you decide like the colors and what goes into that?
Oh, yes, I'm very hands-on with the people that are partnering with me. I let them, and because I used to make the lipsticks, I know what colors should go and be mixed. So I am very hands-on. Some of the colors that I have on my website are actually really unique per what I asked to be made with, like certain colors I wanted. So I'm I am the boss, and it's, hey, this is what I want. I test them out to make sure that the customer is happy, because if I'm not happy, I am not giving it to my mademoiselles. You all are not getting them. Oh, honey, no, 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 no. Madame Cherie will not do you like that. You all are my babies. So I make sure I test them out, and I'm like, nope, let's go back. Let's try that again. And so, yeah, very hands-on. This is the color that I want. Sometimes I am presented with colors that, that have been experimented. And I'm like, okay, that's going to work for, my clients, my customers. And I've been in, makeup for years. So I know that your safe colors like your reds and your browns, especially for ethnic women, are very safe colors. So I try to make sure that, I get those out to you ladies. But yeah, very hands-on.
Some of like the purples and stuff.
Yes.
Like, wow.
Yes.
So stinking pretty.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, cause I'm always curious about that. You're like, you know what? We kind of need a purple.
Yes.
Let me think about what kind of purple. How you decide. Be like, you know what? Because there is something about it. And I see people like rocking it. I see the different skin tones and everything rocking these different colors. And I think it's really fun because, I think of fashion and makeup and all of that is like, it's just interchangeable and it's not permanent. So you can just have fun with it and be expressive with it. And, but I've kept my cat eyes. I do different versions of cat eyes because I like to do that. But it's like, but I really appreciate and value like people that like, I go into places where they'll have like the most beautiful, craziest like eye makeup on, and I'm just like, and I give them the love saying, oh my God, how awesome it looks, because it's like, everybody has a different kind of like take on what they want to do. And I just like, more power to them.
Yes.
Just do it. This clothes, I'm going to take it off. This hair, I'm going to take it out.
Take it out. That's what you
Whatever.
do. You can change it.
Exactly. It's like I can
Yeah.
cut it all off because I've done it many times, cut all my hair off and just start from scratch. And it's like, it's really, holding on to it and staying stuck in the same, like the same kind of like
Hmm.
setting.
Hmm.
I think having a growth mindset, it
Hmm.
growing and changing. I think it's really cool. Okay. So then we're going to talk about marketing because
Yes.
how you got to be like so inclusive in your marketing. Like, tell me about the baby part of it. Like when you were first doing it, was it just mainly you? Because I was like, how are they bending back that far? The average, when they were like,
Yes.
when they're by the
Like,
tree, I was just like, so getting to there, like what were the baby steps when you were first starting, like, okay, this is the visual that I want to put out there. Was it just you? You modeling it, you doing, because I know that you came on to barcodes and you showed like the different lip colors and stuff. So what was the baby step of that? How did that progress?
so when you're the only one running your business, obviously it's a lot of you in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Believe it or not, I cannot stand going live. I just can't. I don't know what it is in my head. I don't, and I don't like putting pictures of myself out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been a thing with me, and it's nothing deep rooted. I just, don't prefer it. And
Mm-hmm.
so, obviously, in the beginning, it was a lot of me. And after a while, I was like, you know what? I need to get models so people can see themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone is caramel complected like me. Not everyone
Mm-hmm.
is deeper skin tone or fair.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wait a minute. I know people at work. Let me ask them and see if they wouldn't mind doing all of this. So I went to different ethnicities and asked, hey, you love me, right? And they were like, yeah, of course. And I was like, why don't you
Yeah,
come
I
be my
love you.
model?
Why? Why? First of all, before I answer that, tell me why you want to know if I love you.
Right. And they were like, sure. And so that's when it kind of started, growing and forming. I was like, okay. And then I sat and I thought, and I was like, you know what? I need to be diverse. Everyone is beautiful. Everyone deserves vintage. Everyone deserves a good lippy.
Mm-hmm.
And so women, we are emotional shoppers. And when I can see myself, I will gravitate to you. So I thought it was very important to not just have African American ladies on my platform, but I thought it was equally important to have, Caucasians and Hispanics and Asians, men who are, sassy. Um, yeah, I mean, I thought it was important so people can see themselves, so they can feel part of my family, my Red Lips Black Dress
Mm-hmm.
family. So
Mm-hmm.
it started off with me. Then I started hating seeing pictures of me. Then I said, let me ask some people. Ask them. They've stuck with me, and here we are.
Oh, right. So, okay, I should have asked you this from the beginning, but how did you settle on Red Lips Black Dress Boutique? How did you
Um, I,
um
I was in graduate school getting my master's degree, and we had to create a small business as a project, a homework assignment.
mhm,
And so I knew I liked vintage. I hadn't gotten off into it yet, but I knew I liked it.
mhm.
And I created this picture of a woman, and I thought it was cool. And I was like, man, what should I name this? And I looked at her and I painted her with a black dress and red lips. And I sat there and I'm thinking of names, and all I could think of my mother. My mother always said every lady should have a black dress. You have to have a black dress. And then, okay, I heard her voice and I was like, okay. And then the red lipstick is a classic. You can't go wrong with red lips. And so out of nowhere, just sitting there trying to figure out the name, I was like, wow, she looks cute with red lips and a black dress. And I said, wait a minute, red lips and a black dress? No, 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 no. Red lips, black dress. And so that's how I came
Awesome.
up with the name, Red Lips Black Dress.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's awesome. You're like, take out the and. Take out the and.
Yeah, I was like,
That's
give me the
very cool.
hands.
So then, let's talk about community, because you said you were kind of like, you went to coworkers and you said people that you work with and said, hey, you guys want to do this. So how important do you think that it is to have kind of like, because it seems like when your marketing is like that, it seems like a village, it seems like a community. And so how much do you think that other like resellers, business owners should like, because I know like we know how we want it, but sometimes it is like having a strong community is really it's like an anchor or a brace for us, to know that we can like rely on people in the community, hopefully. What is your what's your vision of that? Because I know that we, as far as like music and like, the arts, that's really important to us as far as when we think about community. What do you see as like your village, your community that kind of like helps you to keep like centered, I guess? It could be family even.
Um, yes. You definitely have to have a community. Um, as I stated before, you want to center yourself around people who want to see you win. And anyone who wants to see you win is going to give you the real. They're going to say, hey, don't do that. Or, hey, that was good. So for me, it's my husband, my brand new husband. We're very brand new.
Ah,
Yes, very brand new.
listen, congratulations all the way around. Good
Thank
stuff.
you. And when we were dating, he was going to the thrift stores for me. He would call me and say, hey, I stopped by a thrift store. And I was like, you stopped at a thrift store? And I knew then he was the one. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't even ask you to go to the thrift store. You just went. So yeah, I was like, wow. And so, and of course, my parents, I love my parents. I have very straight up parents. They don't sugarcoat nothing. So that has definitely kept me grounded. And of course, my customers. That's another thing for people who are starting out. Don't let the numbers fool you. Don't try to get 10,000 people and 20,000. Try to get a community. Because the community will be your ride or die. People who want to shop with you always. They come back to you. I have a community. I only have 2,100 followers, I believe. But there are so many of them that keep coming back to me. And it's how you make them feel when you do their faces or you ship their package, and you become this family, girlfriends, like, girl, I was on your website. Oh, I got to get that, and that, So it's important to build a community, not numbers. Right?
Yeah.
You want people that love you, not because you're popping. Because people fall in and out of love, right?
Yeah,
People,
I always say my village. I always say my village.
Yeah.
And and I definitely want to take care of my village, and so I always want to make it right and make them feel seen. I always want to their first name, but then I started having 5 Michelles, so I had to go back to their handles. Or I have to do like 2 Kianas, have to do Kiki and Kiana, you just have to do it so they feel, they can feel special. So it's like, that's really important. And I've always kind of been in like a village community, like village person, and someone else's child is my child, someone else's sister is my sister. I like mother people, and it's like, I know you're 10 years, 15, 50 years older than me. I'm still going to mother you. So I just really think like it's really important. It's a heart healthy things for me, to have that mentality. So okay, so then let's talk about what you envision for like the future. If you have like because we didn't talk about your career, what you like do away from this whole thing. If you want to share that, if not, or what do you see with your your website and then the makeup and what you see coming down the line for that, like the idea, like the ideal of where or what your goal is.
Okay. I'm going to say something very bold, but I put my name on it, and I even put God's name on it. And I'm going to explain why. I will be a household name. I will be a billionaire. End of discussion. And the reason why I put my name on it, the reason why I put God's name on it is because I explained this in Barcodes Live a while back. But when you all purchase from me, any money that comes through my fingers, through Red Lips Black Dress, I pay a faithful tithe and offering off of it. I do that because not just my faithfulness to God, but I want my customers to know that I am not an infidel, that I am not using the funds to go and be something I'm not, or to do something dangerous, or I'm not legitimate. I believe it's very important that you understand who you're purchasing from, that I am someone who loves, truly loves what I do. And I want God to bless you, because when you pour into Red Lips Black Dress, you're pouring back into yourself, because I give 10% of that back to God. And so because of my financial obedience to God, and because I believe in myself when others don't believe in me, when I've had people next to me say, oh, maybe you shouldn't do that, I know I'm planting good seeds that is going to blossom into something great. And when you write down where you want to be, and when you speak it, it becomes so. There is life and death in the power of the mouth. The promotion that I just got, I said it out loud to my boss. I said, I will get that job. I'm going to be that manager. And a week later, interviewed for it, and a day later got the job, because I believed in me and I spoke it. So because I believe in Red Lips Black Dress, because I believe in you, we are going to be household names. I am going to be a billionaire. And I believe it, and I say it every day. So that's where I'm headed. I'm headed to the promise that was already made for me when it was birthed in me. And I'm headed that way. Stop me if you can. That's where I'm headed.
No, I'm gonna be checking in on it. I'm like, she told me she's gonna do it, and she did it.
I'm headed there. A very bold statement, and some people may be laughing at me. Like, girl, okay, girl, everybody says that. Mark my words, because I put God first. I seek the kingdom first and his righteousness first. And then I press towards the mark. I will be a household name. See you all on TV one day.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Because it is.
And it is so.
I know this is gonna be good. She said, period. Period.
Yes, period. And it is so.
It's, well, because the thing about it is I love, and it's wild because you said about high school, and, I had glasses, chip front tooth, I was, before cheerleading, I was super, like, watching old movies, make myself cry in the room, singing old musicals, just like, reading books, just in there, just very, very quiet. And then the choir director heard me singing in the background because my mom made me be in choir. Who is that? Oh, you singing a solo next week? And I'm like, oh my God. Then I'm starting singing, and doing all that, and like coming out of my shell, all that stuff. And it's just like, that was me. Back then, but I love talking to people and learning more about people. And I was talking to Josh about it, and I'm like, did you do my podcast? Because I definitely want this to be like part of my journey, part of my journey and what I like to do, because it's not, where it is brings in additional maybe not income, so to speak, but I would like this, having that as, part of my income stream. That's what I envision myself doing with this. And I absolutely love it. And, it's kind of been kind of a natural thing. So that's what I see me doing, with the business, with the resale, Josh and I, we just want to, like, when we're older, I still want to be like, oh yeah, I saw Kat, she's 90. she like going, she's doing a pop-up, you know, she's
Right.
coming into my town, you know, doing that. You know, I love doing that kind of thing. So, you know, and just having like kind of a relaxed, boondocky kind of like relaxed future. So I kind of like that. So it's like, how do you do that both? How do you do both? So I have to fine tune my vision.
Yes.
Fine tune a little things, I'm not sure. Okay, so this is just the point when this has been just like so amazing.
Yeah.
But we want like the others that have been watching to be able to ask you questions.
Okay.
Okay, so for all the lovely people that are in here, I will go in order of the question asked. What would you like to ask Madame Cherie? What would you like to ask her? Madam, what would you like to ask her? Any kind of questions in regard to her business, her makeup, you know, how do you like, you know, where you can find her, like what, anything that you want to, not literally find her, but you know what I mean, you know, online and all of that. So is there any question that you guys that you have for her? This is your opportunity to ask them now. Sometimes people are bashful. Sometimes they come rolling in really quickly. But I have been seeing comments coming in. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments right now. I will be having this as soon as Instagram like loads it. What city are you from?
Originally from Kansas City, Missouri, but I now live in Dallas, Texas.
Girl,
are you from Kansas City?
I'm from St. Joe. I'm from St. Joe.
I knew it.
Yes, I have so many relatives in KC. We might be related. I got. Seriously, oh my gosh, yes, Kansas City girl.
Born and raised on a playground is where I spent most of my days.
I tell people about all the time in Missouri where it's at night, you know, it'd be like my mom said, Cat Monte Chris, come on in, because you knew because the bats were out. You know, it'd be turned dark and bats were coming out, trying to get in your hair and stuff. It's just like, it was crazy. You know, cobblestone, like the little brick streets and stuff. Just a really like lovely like place to grow up. That's awesome. I have so many relatives there. That's wild. I didn't know. Oh my goodness.
City. Gates Barbecue.
Oh, yeah, girl.
Yeah, oh yeah. Hey, Shayla.
She's like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. That's also awesome. Does anyone else have any questions? Now, see, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know she was 45 minutes away. she was 45 minutes away. Seriously, that's a big world, small world. I tell you, it's a trip. It's a trip. Do we have any more questions? Do we have any more questions for this lovely lady? Because I know. Well, why don't you? Because is your website? What is the name of your website?
My website is red.lips.black.dress.boutique, and if you start following me, I have the link in the bio, and it'll send you straight to my YouTube channel and to my website.
Okay. So your YouTube channel is, so it'll send you there. But if somebody wants to go straight to YouTube, is it the same under the same name?
Yeah. So when you so my YouTube channel is Red Lips Black Dress. But the best way to get to it would click the link in my bio. It's LinkedIn, and I have 2 separate ones, so you can go and take a look at it. A lot of ladies want me to do more lives because I did a Cruella look, I think last week. Yeah, so I was like, well, I might just, convert over to lives.
Well,
and do it there, maybe.
That's kind of a fun thing. It's kind of it's something that you love to do.
Yeah.
Even if you do that and then they see the product, and it's kind of a natural thing. You're kind of just doing what you love to do. You're showing your product.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, they're like, I like that.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. And then you just, it's just without having to say, oh, this is this and this is this. I think it's just more organic,
Right.
So you do it and it's like,
Exactly.
I was like, ooh, I saw it and I'm like, ooh, and then I saw the hair and I was like, ooh, I gotta watch it.
I may do it just for you. Oh, I may do it. I gotta get over it.
Yes. Comment that basketball turned into beauty beast. I'm happy to find you tonight, and I appreciate the transparency. And she said she's gonna hop onto your website too.
Oh,
you know,
really?
everybody
Thank
has such
you.
a rich history, so it's really, really fun
Oh,
to like learn
yes.
about, and because it's very, because the thing about it is, they assume if we're tall, we automatically play basketball. I play basketball too. You
Oh,
know, I'm not as tall as you, but I play basketball too. But they're always like, you know, we don't all play basketball, but
right.
she did play basketball, you know. So it's just like, I know, they're like, wow, she's playing basketball. And look at her. She's just so glamorous. It's
I
like,
know. We're from shooting to shoot.
no, seriously. It's like, woo, feathered beauty. It's like, ooh, you know, that's wild. You know, I got in trouble because I was just like, this team's not. It's not a good proud moment. You know, but
Oh,
I was just like, I went and scored for the other team because I was
oh,
like, they're not gonna make any baskets because it was zero. It was when I was young though. It was when I was young
it's
before I
all
like,
good.
you know, matured. They're like, what are you doing? Everybody's so mad at me. My mom was so mad at me.
Like the
It's
goal is that
like,
way.
yes, I did it on purpose. So does anyone have any more questions or comments? Like I said, this is going to go on to, it will go on to it'll be on my grid and on Instagram, but then it will roll over to my YouTube channel.
Okay.
You know, so that it will be on there. This is episode 12.
Okay.
And so is there anything that you want to say before I like do my whole like sign off thing? You know, before I do that, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I just want to thank you so much for having me on here. Ladies, if you're thinking about starting your business, stay with it. It's, you know, it's going to be rough in the beginning, but stick to it. Stay, you know, focused on your goal. Don't let anything discourage you. If God put it in you, it's worth it. Go for it. And Kat, I just want to thank you so much for having me on here. You're such a beautiful soul. As
Oh,
soon as
thank
I
you.
saw your being in my feed, I was like, wow, I definitely wanted to come on here. So I'd like to bless you with a lippy. If you'll go on my website and just pick a color, I will mail it to you. Thank you
Oh,
for having me. That's my appreciation to you. So just let me know
oh,
what color you want, and I'm going to send it to you. Thank you so
well,
much.
you gotta have the bestseller. You gotta have the bestseller.
Yeah.
And I like the red. Yes,
Okay.
girl.
It's yours.
Ah, I'm so excited. And you know, I'm a big like, cause I love to like, it's wild. This jacket, like, cause I'm so broad from my daddy. I'm so broad, but I don't feel so broad in this. It's so, I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, I love red, and I've loved red lipstick. I haven't been like wearing lipsticks a lot. So,
Okay.
girl, I'm gonna be doing like, you're gonna be like, dang, she be mentioning my name every time, every day because she's wearing the red. Because I will literally every
You wear
day.
the
I'll be
red.
like wearing it. Yes, I love to, and I do love to advertise for other women that
Yes.
are just rocking this game. You know, it's really important to do the marketing. So even when I'm shopping, I'm out and doing my collecting, and they're like, oh my God, I love that. And I pass that, I like write down people's handles and stuff all the time because I'm like, oh yeah, this is so and so, this is so and so. You need to check them out because they're like amazing. So I will definitely do that, and I really appreciate it. That's really, really awesome. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate the kind words. You know, because I remember the first time I saw you, and it was on Barcodes, and I was just like, holy moly, and I was just very, very impressed. And so you would clear on me, you show another color, and then you would do it, and then you show another color, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then I was like, who do I want to interview? And I was like, what? Why am I not asked her? I gotta reach out to her. She said yes immediately, and it just means the world to me because I'm still small potatoes, and it's a very, very, such an appreciated thing for you to
Yes.
agree to come on and share your time with me because you know you do have things going on, and I really appreciate it. You guys, this is this interview series is your chance to learn more about these wonderful, wonderful women. If there's anybody that you're like, hey, I kind of want to like learn more about this person, you can always DM me and say, hey, reach out, you know, can you try and have this person on? You can always do that. And then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Conversation with StrayKatStyle. Please subscribe so that you can, when these disappear off of Instagram, you can still see these interviews. You know, not a lot of subscribers, and I wanted to grow. I needed to grow, so you guys just go and show me some love there. And then if you're interested in becoming a patron, I have different levels for patrons. You can be platinum, gold, silver, or bronze, just depending on what you want to do. You can do monthly, you can do yearly, you can do twice a year, you can do whatever you like. You can do to support this, because this is something that I really believe in, and it's something that I want to continue doing, and that will enable me to do that. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody that came in and out tonight, that these lovely comments that you put into the comment section, to come and show us, both of us, love. I really, really do appreciate it. This will be up on, I will load it up, and I will invite Madame Cherie. Yeah, I'll invite her to come, because I gotta say it, because I love how you say it, so I'm like, I'm gonna be like, so I'm going to put that on there so that you can to follow her, so that you can make sure that you are following her, make sure you are checking out her products. And I really like, I go through different progressions with makeup, and I'm going to start doing more stuff on my lips. So, because I'm not digging what I'm wearing, it's like coming off on this. I need to switch. I need to up my game, man. I need to up my game, man. So, you know, I'm gonna be showing you love right back, and picking up products. So I'm really excited. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sitting down with me, for spending your time with me. Just absolutely love it. And learning more about you, I'm just even more in awe. Fabulous, fabulous, beautiful soul. You know, inside and out. So it's like, you know, more and more blessings, 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 blessings upon blessings coming to you. And I'm gonna, people gonna say that, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I interviewed her. She told me she was gonna do that, and she's doing it. And so I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna watch the progression, and I just know it's just big, 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 big things. So thank you so much. I'm glad third time was a charm. Thank you, Mary Beth. Thank you, Britt, for coming on. Thank you, everyone that came on. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, my love, and we will see you guys soon. Okay, much love,
Much love.
Full heart, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.